also, they decided to throw A'ja Wilson into this absurd article from Forbes talking about how A'ja Wilson and Angel Reese are leading the WNBA growth.
Forbes argues Angel Reese and A'ja Wilson are the key drivers behind the WNBA's growth, dismissing Caitlin Clark's impact. This perspective overlooks Clark's record viewership and sold-out arenas across the nation, suggesting a disconnect from reality. Have they forgotten the profound influence she has had on the league's popularity?
It looks like we're going to have a repeat of 2024 when it comes to Caitlin Clark. When it comes to the mainstream media, the legacy media trying to poo-poo what it is Caitlin Clark has done for the league. Let's be real. She's the face of the WNBA already. She's the only one that really and truly moves the needle. Nobody would know who Angel Reese was without Caitlin Clark. Let us understand that.
Mainstream media seems to be rewriting history, and it's time to speak up. Caitlin Clark's influence has made significant waves in the sports world, akin to a meteor striking calm waters. This Forbes article intentionally undermines her contributions to women's basketball, failing to recognize her transformative impact on the game.
Hey, Angel Reese has never played in a game with more than maybe 3 million viewers without Caitlin Clark playing in that game? And I'm being dead serious. She's not played in one. And that's fine. And by the way, Angel Reese probably the second biggest draw in the WNBA. And what the hell is A'ja Wilson's name doing in here? The Aces were fourth in viewership numbers last year?
Mainstream media appears to be distorting history, and we must challenge this narrative. Caitlin Clark's impact has sent shockwaves through the sports community, similar to a meteor disrupting still waters. The Forbes article seems to intentionally downplay her achievements in women's basketball, neglecting to acknowledge her crucial role in elevating the game.
It should not be surprising. Look at this. Tamika Townsell, PhD, is a professor who covers black representation. Stab me in the eye with a fork.
If you examine the authorship of the article more closely, the reasoning becomes clearer. The author, Dr. Tempa Townsell, is a professor at the University of Washington with a focus on black representation. Her specialization influences how she interprets sports data, particularly when assessing the WNBA's development. This perspective often highlights the contributions of specific players while sidelining others. The University of Washington is recognized for its progressive stance, and this ideology evidently permeates her writing. As a result, her analysis may reflect a selective narrative that doesn't fully appreciate the broader impact of all players in women's basketball.
I mean, it's hilarious. You're blatantly putting your cards on the table that this is about race. The whole article is skewed and biased because it's the young white girl, young white woman against these black athletes.
What's particularly frustrating about this article is its disregard for actual game viewership while fixating on social media metrics. It emphasizes Angel Reese's impressive follower counts, 4.8 million on Instagram and 5.5 million on TikTok, while downplaying Caitlin Clark's 3.1 million on Instagram. These follower figures craft a distorted narrative that overlooks the genuine audience draw reflected in viewership data, which provides a more accurate depiction of who truly attracts fans to basketball games, highlighting the difference between online presence and real-world impact.
Is Clark even that active on her Instagram? I mean, I know it's a priority for like Angel Reese. I get that because she makes money off of it, but okay.
The article intentionally minimizes Clark's impact by labeling her as merely one among many contributors to the WNBA's growth. In reality, she is a key factor behind the sellout crowds in arenas nationwide, highlighting her significant role in the league's success that the article fails to fully acknowledge.
Like, what are we doing? If we're going to look at the influencer economy, Hailey Cavender is a bigger name than A'ja Wilson. No offense to A'ja Wilson. Like, what are we talking about? Like, are we literally going to go out here and talk about followers on certain apps? Like, because I mean this, I'm not joking when I say this.
When examining the metrics that truly matter, such as television viewership, the reality becomes unmistakably clear. These figures provide a comprehensive understanding of the actual audience engagement, demonstrating the real impact of players on the game's popularity and reach.
Sorry, not sorry. The statistics do not support your claims. when it comes to viewership. Caitlin Clark is undoubtedly part of the reason why the WNBA broke multiple viewership and attendance records during the 2024 season.
Drawing an average of 1.5 million viewers, whereas those without her frequently fail to attract even 500,000. This represents a threefold audience difference that Forbes conveniently omits from its analysis. What we are witnessing is a deliberate effort to reinterpret WNBA history as it unfolds. Instead of recognizing Clark's extraordinary influence on the league, the article fabricates a misleading narrative by selectively using metrics that highlight other players while disregarding the compelling data demonstrating who is genuinely fueling fan interest.
Like, why can we not just praise these people in isolation? Why? Clark's undoubtedly part of the reason why they broke she's the only reason they broke viewership records.
The article needlessly introduces racial tension into what ought to be a celebration of women's basketball, portraying the WNBA's expansion as a rivalry between black and white players rather than acknowledging the accomplishments of all athletes. The true narrative lies in the often ignored statistics. Caitlin Clark's groundbreaking rookie season has undeniably reshaped the WNBA. This significant impact is supported by solid data, not personal bias or opinion, which Forbes has conveniently overlooked in its analysis.
I really don't understand why this is an article that is almost dismissive of, that's seemingly intentionally almost dismissive of Caitlin Clark, while not saying she did nothing, but almost being dismissive and trying to push it that, Angel Reese is the real face of WNBA. And it's just not, there's no point in that.
Let's address the critical details that this article purposely neglected. Caitlin Clark has shattered multiple records that have stood for decades, including Tama Catching's 2002 rookie scoring record and Ticha Penicheiro's 1998 rookie assist record, effectively rewriting the WNBA record books from her very first game. Yet, Forbes deemed Angel Reese's double-doubles more newsworthy than these historic milestones that fundamentally altered the league's statistical landscape. The data clearly illustrates Clark's impact. The Indiana Fever achieved a record home attendance of 340,715 fans, and when Clark plays, attendance surges by over 50% compared to games without her. As one Indiana season ticket holder remarked, "I've been attending games for 15 years, and I've never seen Gainbridge Fieldhouse this electric." Venues that previously struggled to fill half their seats are now completely sold out, with fans eager to witness her exceptional talent in action.
Like, Angel Reese has never played in a game with more than 9 million average viewers, or 9.9 million average viewers. Caitlin Clark's played in games double that. Like, Angel Reese has never played in a game with more than maybe 3 million viewers without Caitlin Clark playing in that game?
The economic impact of Caitlin Clark extends far beyond merely filling seats. Ticket prices have doubled or even tripled when she's on the court, leading team owners to experience unprecedented revenue growth. Concession sales have surged, and the financial health of the WNBA has reached new heights. Remarkably, Clark's jersey is outselling all other players in the league combined by a significant margin, creating a merchandise revenue stream that bolsters the WNBA's overall financial stability. These are concrete economic metrics that Forbes inexplicably considered unworthy of mention. What's particularly perplexing about this Forbes article is its attempt to portray Clark as merely one of many contributors to the WNBA. Just ask any WNBA team owner who has most significantly impacted their bottom line, and the answer will likely highlight Clark's extraordinary influence on the league's financial success.
Oh, and by the way, Angel Reese probably the second biggest draw in the WNBA. And what the hell is Aja Wilson's name doing in here? The Aces were what, like fourth in viewership numbers last year? I'm pretty sure they were behind the freaking Wings. I think the Wings might have been ahead of them, but they were definitely behind. Like, they were definitely behind a lot of her teams, and like, I don't understand. But yes, by the way, Aja Wilson was the MVP last year. I'm not even going to argue that. She was exceptional.
Diminishing the achievements of Reese and Wilson, who are both exceptional athletes deserving of recognition, is unfair. However, to ignore that Caitlin Clark has been the primary catalyst for the WNBA's explosive growth is misleading. This portrayal reflects a lapse in journalistic integrity that fails to capture the full story.
Asia Wilson's been in the league how long? Exactly. And she didn't even shake the needle. She didn't even slightly vibrate the needle. I mean, people, do you know where Asia Wilson got her eyes on her last year finally? When she went out there and made those comments about being jealous of Caitlin Clark's popularity because Caitlin Clark was white.
The dishonesty in this Forbes article becomes even more glaring when discussing endorsements. They celebrate Angel Reese's McDonald's meal, while Caitlin Clark is quietly constructing an endorsement empire valued at tens of millions with nearly every major brand in the U.S. How can a fast food promotion be considered equivalent to partnerships with industry giants like Nike, State Farm, Wilson, Gatorade, and over a dozen other corporations? This discrepancy highlights a troubling narrative that undermines Clark's significant achievements and financial impact in the sports world.
Reese entered the league with a portfolio of deals with household names including Reebok, Calvin Klein, and Pepsi Company. Oh, really? Okay. Caitlin Clark. Nike, Gatorade, State Farm, Wilson, Hy-Vee, Xfinity, Gamebridge, Lilly, Panatti. Let's keep going, by the way. Bose, Buick, H&R Block, Topps, Shootaway, Goldman Sachs.
The stark contrast is evident. Reese has partnerships with Reebok, Calvin Klein, and Pepsi, while Clark boasts collaborations with Nike, State Farm, Wilson, Gatorade, and over a dozen other prominent brands. Forbes seemingly focuses on Reese's endorsements as the apex of marketability, neglecting to highlight Clark's impressive portfolio. Clark's deals represent the gold standard in rookie athlete marketing, creating an impenetrable fortress of brand partnerships that major corporations are eager to join, demonstrating a clear disparity in recognition between the two athletes.
Also extended her reach into fashion and podcast. She officially announced her plans to enter the draft in an interview with Vogue and launched Unapologetically Angel in partnership with Playmaker HQ and Shaquille O'Neal's The Big Podcast Network last September. Reese's brand blossomed before her professional career began, despite being selected 6 spots behind Clark.
Forbes fixates on Angel Reese's social media metrics, emphasizing her follower count, but conveniently overlooks that major brands seek athletes who influence consumer behavior, not just Instagram likes. Caitlin Clark has consistently showcased this ability, which is why numerous corporations are eager to partner with her. The article's absurdity escalates when it highlights Reese's success in the relatively obscure 3-on-3 league as proof of her star power, presenting a competition with limited viewership as significant while downplaying Clark's mainstream impact is misleading. It's akin to valuing a local pickup game over the NBA Finals, an intentional misrepresentation that fails to acknowledge the true magnitude of Clark's influence in the sports marketing landscape.
Drew 180,000 viewers a game. And you're taking victory laps on the Unrivaled at the end of this article? All you need to know was what I started with. Black representation. Look, facts don't care about your feelings, lady, whoever you are.
What Forbes strategically overlooks is Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA's economic landscape. Her endorsement deals bring in new sponsors, significantly boosting the value of the entire league. This growing interest benefits all players, enhancing the overall ecosystem. However, Forbes remains remarkably silent on this critical aspect, ignoring how Clark's marketability is elevating the entire WNBA.
Why is it that it always has to be trying to dismiss Caitlin Clark? Because it's equally as wrong in both ends to dismiss everything else. But when it comes to pure eyeballs on the sport, Caitlin Clark's responsible for half of them. And I genuinely mean that. She was responsible for half of the eye.
This discussion isn't about undermining Angel Reese or Aja Wilson's achievements as athletes. Rather, it's about the flawed comparison between a McDonald's promotion and Caitlin Clark's diverse array of significant brand partnerships. Such a comparison is akin to equating a bicycle with a fleet of luxury vehicles and asserting they have the same impact on transportation. When examining the underlying themes in this Forbes article, a more troubling trend emerges. This goes beyond poor journalism. It reflects a concerning pattern in sports media that seems intent on fostering division among female athletes, instead of celebrating their shared successes. We are witnessing a deliberate attempt to frame the impressive growth of the WNBA as a racial competition, pitting black players against white players, at a time when the league should be focused on unity and collaboration in celebrating its remarkable achievement.
Look back in 5 years' time, if Angel goes and develops a three-point shot, a mid-range shot, and learns to score layups and suddenly wins an MVP, maybe we can have a different conversation in 5 years' time. But that is a maybe. But at this point in time, the player that draws in 3 times the amount of viewers of any other player in the league is the face of the league.
The evidence highlights significant flaws in Forbes' approach to coverage. Their headline was not only factually incorrect, but also seemed engineered to incite outrage and racial discord. It raises troubling questions about the publication's journalistic integrity and motivations when reporting on women's sports. Particularly concerning is Dr. Tonsel, an academic specializing in black media representation, who appears to have let her personal views overshadow objective reporting. Instead of offering a balanced evaluation of the various factors driving the WNBA's growth, the article crafts a narrative that diminishes some contributions while overemphasizing others based on racial lines. This blurs the line between advocacy and journalism. The WNBA flourishes when viewed as a complete puzzle, with each player serving as an integral piece contributing to a stunning whole. By artificially dividing the audience along racial lines, Forbes undermines the unity critical for the league's sustained expansion. The conversation ought to focus on celebrating how these exceptional women collaboratively uplift their sport, with each bringing unique talents that resonate with an increasingly diverse fan base. Such unity is vital for the league's ongoing success and should be highlighted rather than fractured.
The relevance in the mainstream, everything, yes, we can talk about all of this stuff. There are other big players in the league other than Caitlin Clark. But I just don't understand why there's so much media that is just intentionally just dismissive of what she has done for the sport. Because what Caitlin Clark has done for the sport has helped literally every player in the league.
Responsible coverage should recognize that the growing interest in women's basketball benefits everyone involved. Each player thrives from increased viewership, attendance, and sponsorship revenue. New fans attracted to the sport get to appreciate the talents of all athletes, regardless of whom they first noticed. This manufactured controversy is particularly disheartening given the relentless struggle women athletes have faced for recognition after being sidelined for decades. The WNBA is finally receiving the attention it deserves, yet some media outlets are perpetuating divisive narratives rooted in identity politics, diverting focus from the remarkable athletic achievements taking place on the court. The talents of these women transcend demographic boundaries, and their impact reaches far beyond individual statistics. It's essential to celebrate their collective accomplishments and the progress they represent in the sports world, rather than fragmenting their stories into competing identities.
I'm sorry, it makes, whether the league is growing through X or Y player, can we just talk about these people as what they are, as athletes?
When we examine the current landscape of the WNBA, the statistics tell a compelling story. Every time Caitlin Clark takes the court, something extraordinary occurs. The Indiana Fever is shattering attendance records that once seemed impossible. This is no longer a matter of opinion, it's about undeniable facts. The league is experiencing unprecedented attention, and Clark's impact is a rising tide that benefits all of women's basketball. Remember the sold-out game in Chicago where fans lingered just to watch her warm up? Every player gains from these packed arenas and new television deals. The WNBA is finally receiving the recognition it deserves, and women's basketball is flourishing. Let's celebrate this historic moment together, focusing on unity rather than division. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.